What's up guys, the new guy here. So in this video we're gonna start talking about a series that I'm thinking of creating regarding JavaScript objects. Specifically, we're gonna discuss about JavaScript arrays and all of its methods. So in this first video we're gonna discuss about JavaScript forEach. It usually takes only one parameter, that's a callback that's used to execute on each one of the properties of the array that we are cycling through. You can pass in a second parameter to that function that is gonna override the this value inside the callback, but we're gonna take a look at that on the third example. So for our first example, what we're gonna do is let's think about we have an array of temperatures for the last couple of days. So we have our array. What we're gonna do is dump those values into the specific section that we have right now. As you can see on this example, I already have 3 sections that are gonna hold the information that we are gonna process for each one of our 3 examples. So for the first one, it's right here with temps. So I already have my array in this part, so let's start by working with the forEach property. As mentioned before, the first parameter that the forEach method it's expecting, it's going to be a callback that's going to be executed for each one of our elements of this array. So in here, the only element that it's passed on to that callback, it's the element itself. So in here, we're gonna just write the information of that element into our the specific place that we have for that purpose. To make it simpler for us, I'm using uQuery. Let's just create a simple paragraph element and append our item. So pretty simple. We have the 4 elements that has our array. For the second example, we have a little more complex data structure. We have an array of objects. So we're gonna start working our example. In this case, we're gonna use the ID and the name inside of an input field. In this case, it's a select field, so we're gonna dump these 2 values into that. So as same as before, we only have the callback, and on this one, we're actually going to send the information into this part. So let's do that. Select. So in this example, we're gonna start using something that is called string interpolation. That's something like for JavaScript. That's really useful when you want to append variables and actual strings. So you will see what I mean about that. So we have ID, that's gonna be our item, and the specific part of ID of our item. And in this part we're gonna do the name. So let's take a look at that. So it's simple enough. We have all the elements from our array to the actual select element in the dump. Okay, the third example, it's gonna be a simple calculator for, let's say we are getting a list for buying a car, and we want to see how much we're gonna pay per month. Our function, it's gonna be just one function that is gonna iterate over the length of the list. We have since starting 3 months up to 70 months. So we're gonna use only one function to calculate different values for different amount that we're asking for, and different APR, that's like the interest that they are charging us. It's gonna be a simple calculation. We're not getting into compound interest or anything like that. It's gonna be simple enough. So let's start as we did before with our forEach, the first parameter, as we know, it's going to be the function, the callback, and this time we're going to say our first parameter is the month, the number of months. So we're going to inject that information into our div that we already have in place for that has the ID of int. So we're using query for that, so making it simpler to work. And I'm gonna again use a string interpolation for that. And let's start simple. So we got the number of months. Now we can now this is the tricky part, that we're going to use the second parameter of the forEach method to pass on the object that is going to be tied to this part of our callback. So let's make it simple for now. Let's say I have an object that has a APR of 0.55 and the amount we're going to use an example, it's, let's say, 50k. And here we need to calculate. In here we need to do some calculation. We need to say the real amount is going to be equal to the amount that we are passing to our callback function, divided by the number of months that we are getting the list, and this amount is going to be apply the actual interest rate that we are getting. So in our string we're saying that the number of months for the list, let's do a little more descriptive here. This goes here, number of months, and then we can say real amount. And if we try to run this, we'll see that put this outside. Let's move it inside. So as you can see, we have all the months from our array and all the different calculations. So we're gonna end up paying this amount per month for this specific quantity. So this is where it's getting interesting. So let's first extract our function, our callback function, to a different named function. So let's say calculator. A function that does the actual calculation, and in here I need to pass on the month, and then just a simple change. Let's check if everything is working the same, so that's cool. Then it's pretty simple what we can do here. You can pass on a different value, let's say 45. And as you can see, this is the first one, that's the total amount that we're paying per month. And for the second one, it's a little lower, right? Because we are getting a lower rate. But as you can see, we're using the exact same function, the exact same callback function that we pass on to the forEach. The only difference is the information that we are passing in our second parameter, that this is being converted to the actual scope function, and this acts according to the information that it has on the scope. Let's write the third one just for. So that's it. That's it for the forEach method. I think it's really important for you guys to check two websites. They are really recommended for you to check these two websites. The first one, it's called Mozilla Development Network. Let me open that for you. So this is the place that I usually go whenever I have doubt about the signature of the function or any information that's maybe some examples. It's really complete. At the date of this recording, this is the best place that you can go for all the documentation that we need for all the functions and all the properties and all the features of JavaScript. You usually need to look for the array.prototype.forEach, because in this case we're checking this function. So as you can see, we have all the parameters that the function is expecting, the description, and a couple of examples. The other website that is really cool and you should have always at hand, it's Can I Use? So in here you can quickly type any function or any new feature that you think it's maybe not to use as of today, and get in here and check if this function is going to work on all the browsers that are available right now. Again, at the time of this recording, this is the two best places that I can think of that you should always be handy. You can bookmark them, and that's it for this video. I hope if you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumb down. Either way, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you won't miss any of the future videos. The next one, we're gonna talk about the map function. So see you there. Bye world.